Okay, this is the brand reputation management session. If you're not looking to hear about brand reputation, then probably this is not the right place for you. But I appreciate you all being here. Really quickly, before I get started, please make sure to fill out your evaluation forms after after I do give my presentation. I'm going to try to go through these slides somewhat quickly. I will make the slide presentation available to anyone who wants it. Of course, we're being videoed here as well, so you can go back to it. I want to try and get some Q&A if at all possible. My name is Tony Wright. I'm from Dallas, the Dallas, Texas area. I own WrightIMC, which is a full-service digital marketing agency. I have been in the SEO and digital marketing space for 20 plus years. I have a lot of reputation management and brand management experience, including managing American Airlines brand for a long time, including during 9/11. So I've been through the ringer. I've got all the scars and the badges. I can also answer, if we get into Q&A, if you have questions about your SEO, reviews, anything like that. It's all fair game. I probably would want to keep the questions about the presentation, if at all possible, afterwards. Or if you see me anytime, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, or look at your website. Anything that you need, look at your affiliate program. I've pretty much done just about everything in digital marketing that there is to do. So I've got a broad range of experiences and not a lack of opinions, if you will. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming. First of all, what are we going to talk about? I'm going to talk about brand image and perception. Brand is a little bit of a weird thing in how it's defined, so I want to talk about how I define it and how I believe that you should define it as well. I'm going to talk about what's trouble and what's not, because there is some things that can cause you trouble, and there's some things you might think cause you trouble but don't. Consumer product and research patterns, some research that we've got there. What affiliates need to stay away. Why will affiliates stay away from bad brands? I'm going to give you a hint. The answer is yes. But we'll talk about that on every slide, just so you notice. I hope you don't get offended, but I have gone just for humor's sake and found some really bad brands. Brand names and things like that, just kind of to lighten the mood. So take a look at those if you want on each slide. And then we're going to talk about what can brands do to make themselves better for affiliates and better for themselves, and what can affiliates do to help their brand partners. Make it so that everyone makes more money, which is the goal, obviously. Oops, so your brand. What is your brand? Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. This is from Jeff Bezos. If you guys are following anything that Amazon's doing, there's a book out by my friend Brian Eisenberg right now. It's Anyone Can Be Amazon, even a lemonade stand. I highly recommend it. When your brand, what are people talking about when you're not around? Your brand, it's a promise in a personality. It is not your marketing. It is not what you do. It is who you are. And that is what your promise is when someone is looking at your product. It's not tied to what you say. It's not tied to what you do. It is not your advertising. It's tied to your customer service and how you interact with your customers. It's not your social stance. That's become very popular for brands to take a social stance. I actually did, if you're interested, I've done a huge 50-page research white paper on when a brand should take a stand. And it varies. But for the most part, your social stance is not your brand. It's how customers and potential customers see you. You see my first bad brand here, the Pedophile. If you are interested in purchasing that at your local Amazon, I encourage you to go just do it in an incognito window, if you will. So anyways, what drives brand perception? One of the things, social responsibility does drive your brand perception. If you support good causes, environmental responsibility, community responsibility, all of these things help make your brand relatable, especially to a younger audience. We know a lot about millennials. We know a lot about exennials, which I hate that term, both of them. But we do know that these people are looking at how your brand is taking a stand. Your emotional appeal. How do people feel about you? Do they feel good about you? Do they admire and respect you? Do they trust you? That's a big thing. Do they trust you? I promise, we're getting into the meat in just a minute. I know this is kind of basic stuff, but this is stuff that's really important. Your products and services, they have to be high quality. I always tell clients that come in the door at WrightIMC, my advertising is only going to exacerbate the inevitable. We're going to accelerate the inevitable. If you have a bad product, I'm going to make you fail faster than you would if you didn't do the advertising. If you have a great product, we're going to help you get better results. But at the end of the day, if your product sucks, and I have lots of horror stories about products that we've worked with that sucked, I'm not going to be able to help you make money. So are your products innovative? They show value? Do you stand behind your products? Do you have warranties? There's right now on my Facebook feed a really big battle against Carrier air conditioners because they had made the mistake of pissing off an influencer, and that's something that you don't want to do. So in your workplace environment, happy employees make good brands. Do you reward your employees fairly? If one of the things that I do before I'm looking at, especially doing business with someone on a B2B sale, I go and look at their Glassdoor reviews. If you're not looking at their Glassdoor reviews, you're probably not. If they have a really bad culture, that's probably not a company I want to do business with. And especially if you're a tool manufacturer or you're selling B2B, that is extremely important. And is it a good place to work? And do you have good employees? Those are all things that people are looking at to determine your brand. On your financial performance, how are you doing? Are you going to be in business next week? I don't want to buy something from you if you're going to go out of business. You have profitability. Are you a low-risk investment? Growth prospects. For larger brands, this is much more important than smaller brands. For smaller brands, pretty much you just have to make sure that you tell everybody that everybody realizes you're going to be sticking around. And your vision and leadership. Leadership is important. Putting out there that you are a leader in your space. Do you looking at the market opportunities? Do you have excellent leadership? Do you have a clear vision for the future? These are things that everyone is looking at when if they want to purchase your brand. So what's bad and what's not? This is something that's bad. Bad customer reviews. The thing about reviews, everybody's going to get a bad review. No matter, I don't care how good you are, eventually you will get a bad review. The thing is, do you have good customer reviews? It's a lot easier to get bad customer reviews than good customer reviews. Your good customers are not necessarily reviewing you. But if you have 5 total reviews for your product and services, and 2 of them are bad, it looks like you're a bad company. If you have 100 product reviews, and 10 or 15 of those are bad or neutral, it looks like 10 or 15 people had a bad day. It's a logarithmic perception. So when you're looking at your reviews, make sure, tie the CEO up in the corner and don't let him respond to negative reviews. And be aware that negative reviews are going to happen. We'll talk about, you just need to respond to them. We'll talk about that in a minute. Bad word of mouth. That'll kill a brand faster than anything else out there. People are talking about you badly. Bad behavior by executives or employees. Uber, anyone? Has anyone here stopped using Uber and started using other services because of the fact that the CEO is kind of a misogynist pig? A lot of people have. Chick-fil-A is another example. If you are for equality in marriage, most likely Chick-fil-A is not your favorite chicken sandwich restaurant. That actually has been a double-edged sword for them. And if you read my research paper, you can read all about that. Bad products. If you have a product that doesn't work, it's a bad thing. And bad business practices. If you don't pay your people, if you don't pay your vendors, if you're doing things that are kind of shady, that's just really bad, and it's going to hurt your business, and it's going to hurt your affiliate marketing. It's going to hurt everything. But also, and just remember, if you notice there's a different slide than what I'm looking at here. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. We've got now, can you see these? Oh, it's not moving. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. I'm moving on the computer and not moving on the screen. I have lots of kids. Anyone want to hear a knock knock joke? Okay, knock knock. Smell mop. It's gross. I have a million of them. I have a 12-year-old boy and an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl who actually loves them more than anything else. So just real quick, how many of you guys are actual affiliates? How many of you are affiliate managers managing an affiliate program? How many of you are just here because you want to know what makes bad, how to help your brand? Anybody here have a current reputation management problem? Okay, talk to you afterwards. Definitely. Okay. Let's see, where are we? What's bad and what's not? We did that. No, we didn't do not bad. So this is where we are. By the way, this is the slide of, it's, you can see the Nose-It Sherlock. This is a really bad name for an acne cream. Anyways, so not bad. I like the crispy hexagon. You can't get more generic than the crispy hexagon cereal here. But anyways, not bad. Social stands aren't bad. They are not bad if you know your audience. Honest mistakes. If you make a mistake, everybody makes a mistake. Just own it. Missing the mark in marketing. You know what? Your marketing's not always going to be on target. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not going to hurt your brand that much as the CEO might think it will, or the CMO. It's not going to kill you. Disgruntled employees. You know, we talked about good employees, them being important, but you're going to have people that just don't work out, and they may be trolls, and they may come out and say how horrible you are. But mostly, for the most part, those aren't going to hurt you. And honest but mostly positive reviews. Like I said, it's logarithmic. You can have negative reviews, and you're going to have negative reviews. But if you have honest and mostly positive reviews, you're good. When the problems comes when you get some trolls in there. And we could talk about that later. Why do affiliates stay away from bad brands? You guys that are that are running affiliate programs, you're looking to recruit those top affiliates. Trust me, those guys are going and looking at your brand to see if it's good, because they don't want to tie they're tying themselves to you in most cases. Bad brands don't convert. You know what? If you're selling a product, do you know where most people are going before they buy your product? They are heading straight to Amazon and looking at the reviews of your product, or Yelp for a service. Brands, why trust a brand that can't take care of their customers? Why would I want to put my time into selling their products? No amount of advertising will help a bad brand, mostly. Now, if you're Verizon or one of the big cable companies that has somewhat of a monopoly, yeah, but most companies, your advertising is not going to help you if you have a bad brand. Affiliates, they're not in the game for their health. They want to make money, and they're not going to make money when a brand is bad, when a brand has bad reviews, when a brand has a bad culture, when a brand doesn't live up to its promises. And perception is reality in this game. If your brand, you may think your brand's great, but the perception is awful. If your brand reputation is bad, customers won't buy it from anyone, and that includes affiliates. So why would you sign up for an affiliate program for a brand that is bad? What can brands do? I've been preaching about proactive reputation management for 15 years. What is proactive reputation management? It's a lot of PR, some SEO, but it's creating a positive image about your brand before a crisis hits. You want to know something? You'll never know the ROI on that. You'll never know it, because the only way you can know the ROI is if you had a crisis hit and you didn't do it. But you'll never know the ROI on proactive reputation management. If you're interested in learning more about it, please talk to me. Respond to your reviews. I got 15 minutes, so I'm going to run through these. And spend money on your customer service. Spend your money there. Don't spend it. If you're spending all your money on marketing and you're not spending any money on training your customer service reps, you need to change that. Take responsibility for your actions. If you do something bad, say, we screwed up. If you did something on purpose, take responsibility for it. Monitor your brand's reputation. Okay? Key, very easy to do. There are tons of tools. If you have a very large brand and you want to know about them, go for it. Come talk to me afterwards. I'll tell you what tools I like. But for most of you, Google Alerts is going to work. Set up Google Alerts on your brand. If you don't have Google Alerts on your brand, on your key employees, on your products, you're not doing the basics. You've got to be able to know. You've got to know when something bad is happening. If you don't know that something bad happens, it can spiral, and you can end up with a really bad situation. Push your brand to do positive reputation management. Push the brands. These are what affiliates can do. Know the audience and know what they're sensitive to. If you know the audience, if knowing the audience is so important, Chick-fil-A knew their audience. And you know what? It helped them. Starbucks knows their audience. When they take stands, it helps them. If you make a stand or you do something and you don't know your audience, you can end up with a lot of backlash. And don't risk for affiliates, I'm going to tell you, if you are we didn't see any affiliates in here, but if there are, I certainly wouldn't risk my reputation and what I've built to work with a brand that wasn't positive. Don't do it. It's not, the short-term gains are not worth the long-term headaches. So anyways, we've gone through this really quickly. I feel like I missed something. I did. What can brands do? Yeah, spend your money on customer service. But now I want to get into the meat of this, which I consider your questions. If you don't have questions, I can certainly talk for a long, long time. But let's go ahead and ask questions and tell you guys if you have any questions about brand reputation, about reviews management, about anything like that. If you have something that you want to bring to the table, let's do it. Let's talk. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'm just going to continue talking. No questions? Okay. Let's talk about those of you that have problems in, say, the search engines. Say somebody's written something negative about you and it's showing up really high for your brand. The first thing you need to do is you need to go and look and see, is what they're saying true? If what the people are saying is true, then you need to correct it. If you can respond, respond. If you have a troll that is writing something out there about you and it's because they have a vendetta against you, whether it be an ex-employee, someone who just is, I've actually seen recently a blackmail case. Someone contacted my client and said, if you don't pay me X amount of dollars for this domain that he was trying to sell him, I'm going to trash all of your brands. That's a case where you need to get an expert involved. Otherwise, there are cases where you don't need an expert. If you've got something bad about your brand and people are complaining about it, you need to fix that before you hire an expert. Because an expert's not going to be able to fix that for you. We can tell you what to do online and how to mitigate damage, but I can't fix your brand. I can't fix your products. If you have something out there that is not true, even if you don't know who wrote it, you need to contact a lawyer. And I hate to say it because I don't like lawyers very much. Even my brother's a lawyer and I don't like him very much. But anyways, they serve their purpose. The thing about contacting lawyers, they're expensive, but what you can do, if you got to look at the ROI, if you get something negative out there and there's defamation, if there is defamation, and you ask a lawyer if there's defamation, you can sue the person who wrote it. You can't sue the website. I can't sue Ripoff Report. I can't sue Facebook. I can't sue Google. But I can sue whoever wrote whatever is negative about me. If I can get a judgment against that person, I can get it removed from Google's index. I can't get it removed from Ripoff Report. I can get it removed from most every site but Ripoff Report. Ripoff Report is a real problem. But I can get Ripoff Report's results removed from Google if I have a judgment. And in that case, unless you're selling something that's extremely high-end or requires a lot of research, say I work with a lot of franchises on their reputation. And a franchise has to watch Ripoff Report because people are going to, if you're looking to spend $200,000 or $300,000 or $1 million or $2 million, $10 million to open a franchise, you're going to do your due diligence. But if you're selling a TV, if you're selling a vitamin product, if you're selling something like that, as long as it's not in Google, most likely you're okay. You may lose a few customers, but you're not going to lose a ton. If you can get it out of Google. Now, the other thing, how you combat Google like I said earlier, that proactive reputation management, writing good stuff about you, getting other people to write good stuff about you so that it shows up in the search engines. So when something bad happens, even if it does show up when someone's searching for your brand, they have 10 other things that are showing that your brand is a good brand. Like I said, perception is reality. If there's one thing and 10 positive things, it looks like somebody has a vendetta against you or they're having a bad day. It may still cause you some loss of business, but it won't cause you as much of loss of business if it hits and there's nothing else out there about you. Because then the only thing that they see, especially on the first page of Google, and we all know the research, I'm sure you guys know it, 90% of people don't go past the first page. So if it's on the first page, it's really going to hurt you. One other technique you can do is you can buy an ad at the top. You got to be careful about that because you can create what I call a Streisand effect. In the Streisand effect, you're bringing attention to a problem that you have that people may not know about. But in your monitoring, are you also monitoring Google's auto-suggest? The keywords that Google says go along with your brand? If you have keywords, when you type in your brand and at the bottom it says, look for my brand scam, people also look for my brand reviews. A lot of people do that. That's not negative or positive, that's what you got. But my brand scam, you better make sure that whatever's on my brand scam is going to be good. If you want to combat those reviews, come talk to me because we have to get a little black hat. I'm not afraid to do that because Google doesn't give us any recourse. And the problem with Google Auto-Suggest is that once a keyword appears there, it's a self-perpetuating problem. Those auto-suggests are based upon volume of searches. If you have my brand scam showing up, people are going to look at that, click on it, that counts as a search. Therefore, once it's there, it's hard to get rid of. Not impossible, but hard. Google doesn't give us any recourse if that happens. So therefore, all of a sudden, we've got negative results that perpetuate themselves without some sort of black hat intervention. I'm going to stop real quick, ask any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Other companies will take those bad reviews and try and get business based on that from the original company.
Okay, the question is, what do I think about groups that will take bad reviews and tell other companies to bid on them? That's dirty. I don't like it. The thing about the reputation management industry, just in general, it's kind of dirty. Unfortunately, my career is in SEO and also in reputation management. I've had to deal with a lot of snake oil salesmen over the years. The thing about those companies, they are working on someone else's misery. First of all, I don't know how they're selling them because you can do that work yourself really easily. It wouldn't take you much to bid on a brand or a brand's term scam. Say, come see us, we're better. In fact, you could even do it in a broad match term in most cases and get the same results as they would. So I think they're worthless.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people are fall for these types of things, and they say, "Oh my gosh, I can go get my competitor. All these people are using this service. I can go tell them how much." The intent is I can tell them how much better my service is. When in reality, it's better to do that to everyone, not just to a specific person who is leaving a negative review. So I don't know if that answers your question. I don't like them. How would I combat them? First of all, if they're bidding, there's a number of things you can do. You can if you have a trademark, you can keep them from bidding. If there's some torturous interference that's going on there, that you could maybe approach them. Sometimes, especially those guys, they don't want to mess with you. A strongly worded or a letter from a lawyer can, especially if it's a company like that where they're kind of doing shady stuff anyways, To an individual, you need to think about that, because individuals will. There's actually a lawyer here in New York that I worked with for a while, has an individual that he sued a long time ago that's kind of made it his mission to go after this guy. Before he started working for me, he sent him a letter like that to stop, and now that letter's all over the internet. You know, you can backfire. So you've got to look and kind of play 2 or 3 steps ahead of who you're looking at. But for those guys, let them have it with both barrels with a lawyer. There's no reason why not to. And a letter, if you can't get a letter written by a lawyer for $300, then you need to just find a different lawyer. So I can get that done all day long. Now I have a brother that's an attorney, but even others I can find. Most lawyers will write a letter for about $300, unless they're like the guys that charge $250. You know, there's one that charges $900 an hour that I'm an expert witness case against. He's not going to do it, but his firm would. Okay, I got like 2 minutes. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap. Oh, yes, sir.
What are you doing to get customers to leave positive feedback versus what are you doing to get customers to post positive feedback versus the negative? Because, you know, from our side of the business, doing business for 10, 15 years, everyone's quick to leave a negative feedback if they're unhappy. Mm-hmm. And to get someone to leave a positive experience, I mean, it's more like you have to go out of your way to get that positive experience. Are you utilizing some type of tool that's helping, like with like email blast on maybe a checkout page? I mean, what are you recommending for that?
We actually provide reviews management, and it's not a cookie cutter service. If it depends on who you are and what you're doing. For instance, one of my clients is the largest psychiatric practice in Texas. They get a lot of negative reviews from people who are coming in looking for drugs that my client's just not going to prescribe. But what we have done with them is we have put a sign in their office asking for positive reviews. We send out a newsletter once a month to all of the patients, telling them about the latest stuff that's going on, also asking for reviews. We have trained the doctors to actually ask for reviews, and when they check in, they actually every patient there's a tablet that they do a little bit of an assessment. At the end of that particular, when they're waiting, we will ask them to log into their account and give a review from that tablet. There are some breakage of terms of service there a little bit, especially for Yelp, because Yelp is really nasty on that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. And this is going to leave this room, I don't care, but for $75 a month, you can get what's a Yelp Premier page, and they won't mess with you. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is. I'm the only and we're the only Yelp certified agency in Texas that they're expanding out that program. But one of the reasons I do the $75 for every client that I can get is not because I feel like it's an effective form of advertising, but what it does is it allows me to get 24-hour response from the editorial team when there's a negative review, if there's something that I think is false. So I do that. But on the flip side, we've actually also created what we call reviews portals. We send people, we give them a card, send them to a page that tells them and walks them through how to leave a review. The problem is, especially if you've got customers that are not necessarily really savvy, if they go and review on Yelp and they've never done another review, it's not going to show up, it's not going to help you. So you got to look at different places. If you're in travel, TripAdvisor is king. And you got to get on there. If we got to know where your customers are. There are also services out there that are pretty good, like TrustPoint, where you can get reviews on your own website. And if you create the schema correctly, which they can show you how to do, or I can show you, it will show up in your Google reviews. But anyways, I am out of time. I am here all through tomorrow and tonight. Buy me a cup of coffee, or come talk to me, whatever you want to do. I am willing to discuss anything, the reputation management, SEO, etc. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.